Last night, as I was making dinner, I got to figuratively eat my dessert at the same time while watching my TV as Team Italy took belt to bottom to Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. The eventual 8-6 finale in favor of Team Italy leaves the powerhouse Team US without any control of their future. Set to watch later today as Italy takes on Mexico to determine which two out of those three will advance and continue playing. I say I got to eat my dessert while watching this baseball game because it has always felt like a bit of a sweet treat to me when I get to watch the US on the international stage fall on its face from time to time. There's something so special about having a new figurehead to cast your biases onto. And both sides of the spectrum are guilty of this to different extents. But these structures that form society in the US feel and increasingly are unreachable and uncaring when it comes to hearing the cries of the people. This despondency from our leaders naturally leads us to outsourcing that energy, both good and bad, into our media, our culture, and yes, especially into our sports. I grew up in the Kaepernick era of the NFL and very vividly remember the high-pitched wailing and screaming that came from people saying, keep politics out of sports. It was the second his knee hit the ground. They were cries that then and now ring as hollow and disingenuous as can be given the state of play. And I wish I was more politically literate at a young age so that I could have pushed back, but that playbook is so clear in hindsight. People of color had a direct line of sight to make white people of power examine their privilege using a tool they themselves built. And that outrage was just a distraction so that they could steal those mechanisms of power back for themselves. I'm lucky to live in the US, to have been raised by parents who put me in a position to not suffer or struggle on the scale too often seen globally. But that luck, as I've often been told it is, kind of starts to lose its luster if you choose to not isolate yourself. The past 12 years have been a really wacky time to become an adult who watches the US participate in these events of incredible scale, whether it be domestic or foreign, politics, sports, or anything where our reputation is simultaneously projected outwards as a strength and mirrored back at us as a weakness. And it reveals a deep lack of pride that I have in my own country. As a lifelong sports fan, I have that weird brain bug where we interpret the world around us through the lens of competition or athletics, and that lens has only gotten more tinted over the course of the past decade. That is the point where I find myself actively cheering for whoever has the chance to knock off the US because I want there to be competition I want our country to feel the pressure, you know? We always find a way to position ourselves as the favorites. It's real OG Yankee behavior. And when you behave as unlikably as our government and about half of our population that voted them in has, you have no other option than to play the role of anti-hero and to be rooted against. This afternoon, Team Italy and Team Mexico will face off at 4 o'clock Pacific with a complex set of outcomes in a battle that the US has no real say in. Does that sound like a familiar concept? Even just a little bit? I'm just saying, I wouldn't put it past Team US to try to sneak some laxative tankers through the Strait of Gatorade. Point being, I view this as the sports nerds version of voting with your dollars and not just your voice. We are constantly expected to put national pride above moral expectations, and this is the venue where I can express that discontent between that difference. Team USA expects you to support them, despite what they represent, despite what they may do. And if that's a choice you want to make, regardless of the state of the world, then that's your choice, and I respect that. But if you're like me, and you're getting emotional watching some of these teams and the pride that they play with their country's name on their chest, knowing that it means something to them, and you want to feel closer to that than what this represents, you can help make that happen. Tune in, watch baseball, engage how you want to, and if you want to join me, I will be cheering for a 3-2 Mexico win